How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This will be episode 2 of our Road to Elite series, and in this episode we'll just be recapping our first weekend league that we played for the series. In the background, as you guys can see, I just chose a few of the games that I played later on in the weekend. So we had some pretty good opponents here, and I'll just be showing some goals and highlights from those games. I will say I show a lot of build-up and a lot of the kind of maybe defense that leads up to the goals, just so you guys can see kind of what my play style is like, maybe see like what I need to work on, what we can do going forwards in the future weekend leagues. So without further ado, we did finish Gold 1 this weekend, which is where I normally finish. Have been finishing there for almost all of FIFA 20. So that was to be expected. So obviously going forwards, we'll be looking at things to improve on during the week, whether that's through rivals, or kind of just in the arena, working on different things in FIFA, different skills, different kind of tactical things to help me get to elite. I will say I did note a few things this weekend that, maybe I struggled with. One was definitely the formation. This weekend, as you guys saw in the last video, I was predominantly in the 4-1-2, or not 4-1-2, 4-2-3-1. And obviously that's probably the most meta formation, the one that all the pros are using this year. But for me, it's just kind of stale in terms of counterattacking options, which is definitely a really viable way to score this year. It doesn't offer that much. I usually score off my defense, as you guys just saw there. Cruz with a good interception leads to we have like a 2-on-2 here, and we don't end up converting. But I mean, those are the kinds of possessions. They usually lead to goals for me. Again, our good defense there wins us the ball back in a good attacking position, and I think we do score here. And this is just an example of if this is what it takes for me to score on offense, maybe we need to be looking for a different formation. And yeah, as I said, Lacazette with the great finish there. And so I'm recording this a little bit later, but as you guys will see, the next video will be about a new formation that I've really loved and will be bringing into the next weekend league. And so yeah, that's one, definitely the formation I thought could be improved upon. Another one was finishing. Obviously there's not that much gameplay shown here, but I feel like throughout the weekend I had a lot of chances that I maybe could have or should have finished, that I just didn't. And I think that's just up to trying to practice different shot types, whether that's driven shots or driven finesses. I know Boras Legend, who I watch quite often, he uses a lot of driven finesses, so that's something that I'll be definitely experimenting with throughout the week. But also just shot types that I've already been using, and I feel like some of the times I can ball roll the keeper more often, or maybe shoot far post. I think the meta this year has really pushed all of us to go near post so often that the far post shot, which is still I think really effective, has kind of been overlooked. As you guys can see on the game here, making subs is another critical part of the game here. I subbed in Adama here. I didn't necessarily like Adama. This is the second weekend I've been playing with him. Definitely offers a good pace, but I'll definitely be looking for new subs to use in the future. Lately, I've been using Bergwijn. He's been pretty good, so maybe that's who we'll stick with in the future. And I guess on that same topic, personnel, about Lacazette and Griezmann for this weekend league, they were both okay. I will say I have since sold both of them because they were both pretty expensive. I think Griezmann was about 900k, Lacazette was like 600 some, and they were good. Finished all the chances I would expect them to finish, and had decent creating abilities. But I think they both kind of had their own flaws. For Lacazette, I think the pace just wasn't there. When we talk about players like Mbappe or Ronaldo, they just feel like they have that extra pace boost that a player like Lacazette just doesn't have. And I don't know if that's because of their physical build. I know Lacazette has a bit of a stockier build, or whether that's just because of their cards in general. I think Lacazette had 90 or low 90s pace maybe, but it just didn't feel as fast as it should. So I think that was his biggest flaw. As you see, we equalize here in extra time. And for Griezmann, obviously the left foot is a big plus. He's very strong on his left foot. But I think the no 5-star skills at the cam position, combined with, again, his lack of pace, makes it a lot harder to create. Left stick dribbling is definitely effective, but really only when the gameplay is good. And I think this weekend it wasn't too bad, but there were definitely some points where I felt like, Griezmann's left stick dribbling wasn't creating enough chances. And if I did have a Neymar or an Mbappe or that FUT birthday Di Maria, who I've really enjoyed, to just create a few more chances, definitely would have had more attacking opportunities, especially because, as I was saying earlier, the 4-2-3-1, I think as a formation in itself wasn't creating that much. And so it was I was really relying on individual players. As you can see here, we actually did sub in Bergwijn later in this game. And I think as the weekend went on, I subbed him in more and more often just because I felt like, at striker with that 5-star weak foot, he was really good and definitely offered a little more pace than Lacazette. And other than that, I think we played, decently. As I said, Gold 1 is where we normally finish. So it's not like we played particularly good or particularly bad. But I think it definitely is those, little things. I think I lost 1 or 2 penalty shootouts this weekend. Definitely a few games where I either finished one too few chances, or didn't take advantage of an attacking opportunity that I had that really led to a few of my losses. As you see here, he almost equalizes in the 120th minute, but luckily for us, he's offsides. That was definitely lucky on our part. And something that I saw there that reminded me is of the bad right stick switching. That still happens sometimes as we go here in a game too. It's hard to master right stick switching, something that I've always been working on and will continue to work on. But a lot of what we've been talking about so far, whether that was like finishing or formation, I think those have been more targeted towards the offensive side. But I think defensively, I usually play pretty aggressive, as you guys can see in the gameplay. As I said earlier, it's aggressive defense that wins me a lot of possessions in good attacking areas and allows me to score goals that I might not have been able to just on a regular build-up. But my one flaw, and I think a lot of you guys probably experience the same thing, is sometimes you right stick switch and you know exactly who you want to go to, but the game just doesn't go there. And it's easy to blame EA, but you look at the pros and they don't really mess that kind of stuff up. And so you kind of just have to ask the question, what can you or what can I personally do to improve on that? And we get a lucky pen there, but that first time fake shot, as you guys have seen multiple times in this video, was really good for me. Something that I've definitely been putting into my gameplay more and more. And here we have a penalty, and he saves it. As I said, our penalties this weekend weren't good, and you guys didn't see the games with penalty shootouts in this video, but as I said earlier, I did lose 1 or 2 on penalty shootouts. I think one of the strategies that I've been seeing other people use is either trying to learn to time penalties, which I know, at least a good amount of the pros do, learning to green time penalties, which is something that I can definitely experiment with in a more controlled setting, maybe offline or something. But also the Panenka is something that I've seen being used, aiming top bins, either top right or top left corner, and using the chip shots to just L1 in circle or LB on the Xbox, and just chipping it into the top right and top left. And what that does is basically the keeper either dives too early and isn't able to save it, or they just stay down the middle and don't save it, obviously. But the only way I think to save those pens if they're truly in the top corner is to kind of wait and then dive late. So that's definitely something that I'll be experimenting it with in the upcoming days. And I think that about covers it in terms of what I noticed. Definitely offensive wise, it was some formation issues, some finishing issues, and the penalties as we really stupidly give the ball away there. And then on defense, just right six switching. And then again, if we do switch formation, it will probably, change up the way we play defense. But I don't know exactly what formation I'll be using next weekend. So we'll get there when we get there. I will say, as we reach the end of the video here, I have already opened my Gold 1 rewards. And we did get Alphonso Davies as one of our red picks. Ginter was our other one, so obviously we won't be using him, but you guys will see Alphonso Davies, who I've really enjoyed so far in the next video. So until then, I'll see you guys later.